This is Unpivot, the show for Excel and Power BI fans and anyone who loves chatting about data. I'm Wyn Hopkins.
I'm Mark Proctor.
I'm Giles Male.
I'm Sue Bays.
I wasn't sure of the order there for a second. I couldn't remember if Sue was, if we changed.
Oh yeah, away.
I've been away.
How was Croatia?
Oh my goodness, Wyn, you remembered.
Thank you very much, Sue.
Well done, Mark. You get top tips.
All right.
Remembering
All
without
right.
prompting, and Giles, you're just rubbish.
I know.
Croatia was amazing, absolutely wonderful. Loved it. I can thoroughly recommend. Lots of swimming and beautiful Adriatic Sea and meeting loads of new people. And you'll love this one, Mark. So I got chatting to this lady at yoga because I went island hopping and then did yoga in the middle. And she lives in Canada. So I might be going to Canada next October to run a grizzly trail race. We have to take grizzly bear spray to stop grizzlies coming.
How? How? You're just there, you know. Like how? I just don't understand how you just start a conversation and how. Like when I talk to people, they're like, "What do you do?" And I mean, in the past, I'd have said, "I'm an accountant," and I tell you, the best response you could get would be, "Oh." That's the best response, right? But you seem to like. You're just there chatting. People go, "Oh yeah, I love data," and somehow everyone else that you talk to goes, "Yeah, me too. Let's talk about Python, shall we?" Like, how does that happen?
Don't know, but she's a trail runner, and she was talking, and I thought, "I've done the grizzly." So we've got a grizzly, and come stay with me, and we'll go camping and explore Canada. I thought, "Oh, that sounds quite fun. Yes, please."
Jeez.
And then she sent me the list for the race, and it's got these bear drops. They're real. They're not like your made up stuff, Wyn.
Drop bears.
Drop bears. This is serious. They have spray for bears to stop them attacking you.
Great. That sounds great, Sue. Good.
Can't think why you wouldn't want to do it. Somebody you've met for half an hour has invited you to run in the woods with grizzly bears and the potential of dying. Oh, yes, please.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I'll go.
That's the difference, Mark.
Yeah, it's that thing of, for Sue, running is no longer enough. She has to. It has to involve some near-death experience to kind of reach the heights of that she's expecting.
Yeah.
It just sounded just amazing. So it's going to be, the views would be unbelievable. So yeah.
I've heard lots of nice things about Croatia as well. My niece is over there at the moment. So,
it's honestly, it is beautiful. We flew into Split and then went island hopping, and it just, I can really, really recommend. The white wine is glorious. The people were lovely. It was just really, really lovely.
Your mention of Split has just taken me on a flashback to a previous episode where Mark had somebody commenting about how to split cells in an Excel thing, which came up on Reddit forum Excel a couple of days ago. Somebody asking how can they split cell L1 into two cells, and the Reddit people aren't that nice, really, in terms of helpful responses. But
I have heard that.
Yeah. So interesting. News. What's news? Giles, what's news?
Nothing.
Giles is now raising his arm in a glorious...
Look at
Explain what you've got there, Giles.
I have a burning pirate ship on my forearm, which is going to turn into that, plus a crazy war axe on my inner forearm, and then a Viking warrior on my shoulder, and some ravens on my upper shoulder. It's just going to be the craziest tattoo on my right-hand side. I've just decided.
It is pitch black forearm with
look at that,
flames and skulls and all sorts coming out of it.
It's very deep.
That took 9 hours. So I had a 9-hour session. The last hour was on my elbow, which was painful. So
in one go.
And that's what I've got. 3 more days booked. It might take a bit longer, but they'll all be 8-9 hour sessions. So yeah, it's pretty painful. I'm not going to lie. Well, I love it. I mean, what says trust me with your spreadsheets more than a guy with a flaming pirate ship on his forearm?
Is there any reason to go for a flaming pirate ship? Like, do you feel an affinity towards the pirates of the past and how they were mistreated by the governmental
no more
authority?
than my my Viking warrior on my leg. Have you seen this? God, I'm just showing you all my thigh now.
That was the one you got after the run, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've got a Viking warrior on my thigh. I've now got another. I will have a Viking warrior on my arm. It's just I don't know. Just I feel like it's cool. So therefore, I've got it.
Why not?
Why not exactly? Why not?
I think why.
That's my news.
Rather than why not, I think why is a better question.
That's the question I never ask.
Don't ask him how much it costs.
No, I've learned with Giles, you never ask that. Never ask that.
Well, I have a son that is also quite addicted to tattooing, and it's just phenomenal.
Well, I can't give you the answer. It's £850 a day, and it's going to be 4 or 5 days, so it's not cheap.
Wow. Cool.
So there you go. Good. That's my news.
That is bonkers. Congratulations, everybody. MVP renewals.
Oh, yes.
Everybody's back in, which is great. It's always a little bit nervy. You're never too sure. People's email addresses don't work, and you don't get the right notification, and then everyone else is getting one. You don't. You can't sign in. So,
yeah.
Are we going to the summit in March? Is it March, April time?
I'm going to try.
The MVP Summit in Seattle at Microsoft's headquarters. It's doubtful for me, but you never know. I won't say no. But...
I think I might go this year. Didn't go last year. You going to go?
If you haven't been for a while, it'd be good.
If Giles is going, I'll probably skip it this year.
You're just getting me back because of the joke I made with Bill, where I said, Mark was the highlight of your. It was you, wasn't it, Wyn?
Oh, mine.
You're getting me back for that. I've got spare fur coats.
Yeah, I'll try to make it this coming year. I didn't go the year that's just gone, so I'll try to make it. And if Giles is going to take some fur coats, I can imagine it could be as he swans into that first session, having not met any of these people.
I was going to say we could all share an Airbnb together, but if he's going in with his little fur coat,
I'm so tempted. I'm so
tempted. Basically, you've got to turn it into a gilet now, Giles, because to get your arms out, so you've just got to go white coat, sort of bomber jacket style, rather than
and like and the matching shorts to show off the leg ones.
Now turn into some sort of ABBA tribute.
How do you get the image?
The little black ones, the little black leather ones with a white.
Stop.
This episode's coming with a warning now.
I think John Peltier will love it. I think he'll love it.
Oh, John would love it. Yeah. You should see his leather jacket. It's awesome.
Really?
What else is happening? What else? Actually, next this time it's a long way off, right? But isn't there? What time of year was the Excel thing in London? Because I'm more likely to head to that. I think. Is that around the same time?
That's going to be in May.
Later? Oh, okay, way later. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe there's a chance for both then. Let's see.
Ooh, that would be fun.
Well, I'm going to Japan on holiday in January. Ian and Wyn around for the first time. So
wow.
So
that's cool.
Might not have any money left. So we'll see.
Yeah, but life's short, so you might as well.
Life's short. I know. Imagine the money I've saved myself on tattoos over the year.
Exactly. That's paid.
That's business class upgrade virtually, isn't it?
Yeah.
Plenty of time. Do you think we should all get an Unpivot tattoo?
No. Let's just sorry.
The silence is deafening.
No.
I'm going to make the edit even longer this time, Sue, in that gap.
Yeah, well.
Widen that gap a bit for a longer pause.
Widen the gap. I might put in a little tumbleweed sound.
Yeah, tumbleweed sound. Really lovely. Creaky gate.
10:30. I'll look for it.
Yeah,
Just me.
Yeah,
Okay,
just
gotcha.
you. Okay, what proper news? Any other news? I've got a couple of things, but who's got anything?
There's
Anyone?
some Excel updates.
Oh
Well,
yeah,
I think you did a video about one of them, Wyn. So why don't
I did.
you
Auto
talk through it?
refreshing pivots. Is that the one you're talking about?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great. That is
Yeah.
genuinely great news.
Yeah. Imagine my excitement as well when I looked onto other people's websites and saw that no one had done a video on it yet because they haven't been flighted. I was like, so this is the concept. We were talking about this with Bill as well. When something goes to Insider, they don't actually give it to everybody.
Yeah.
So it sort of rolls out randomly. So I won the lottery this time in terms of the flighting lottery. And I had it. So I thought, knock up a quick video. And I had a quick check. Bill hadn't done one, and he's always first. Layla hadn't done one. So I thought, go and do one now. Good. Yeah. So auto refreshing pivots, type a number in, and your pivot table instantly shows that number as if it was a formula rather than having to go right click refresh.
Nice.
You can turn it off and on with a nice big button. I know. I'm not.
So I think following on from that, the thing that we need now is a function to reference a pivot table. So you can get your spill range from a pivot table with a function, because the number of times, right? One of my biggest issues with pivot tables is the fact that it's not the refresh piece. It's the fact that it calculates something, then people have to go and copy and paste that to somewhere else, and then carry on with other calculations, and it ends up with all these manual bits. But if you could get your spill range of your pivot table and then perform other calculations on it, it then kind of brings it into the calculation chain. So I think auto refresh, fantastic. I've got no idea whether this is a feature, but Microsoft, you should definitely introduce some referencing system so we can reference the output of the table.
That's interesting. Does the auto refresh extend to Power Query, like links for? No, I assumed it wouldn't, because it kind of feels like you'd still want that.
Performance would be a real killer, wouldn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Every time you change the number, Power Query refreshed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It would. Yeah. I can see. One of the pre-Power Query days, there was Microsoft Query, which pulled data from Access databases and other places. That had a lovely little parameter feature where you could just change a number and it would trigger the refresh. Now, I'd love that in Power Query. Pick a drop down, pick a year, and that particular cell could force Power Query to run. That would be really nice if we did that. But I don't want it running every time I change any cell on the spreadsheet. That would be an absolute.
Yeah.
There is in Excel, you can refresh it at specific intervals, can't you? So you can set a time interval to refresh, and then it refreshes in the background. And I suppose you could set that with some VBA. I know I said VBA. I apologize, everyone. You could set that with some VBA that then it triggers on specific cell changes. So there's things you could do to force it.
Office scripts that you showed that we talked about. Office scripts to refresh.
Yeah, well, Office scripts at the minute don't have Power Query, because Power Query isn't yet in Excel Online. So that's another feature that we desperately need.
Yeah.
But when that comes,
to refresh,
then just refresh in the background. However, I mean, whether they set some parameters, the number of times you can refresh, but then that could just refresh over and over again at specific intervals.
I might come back to that point later in our question of the week. Yes, I will. Any downsides to auto refreshing pivot tables?
I've got one.
I'm thinking there is one, but I can't really picture it. Oh, what do you got, Mark?
I've got it's purely around the inconsistency. The fact that you now have pivot tables that can auto refresh and pivot tables that don't auto refresh means that before there was one rule. I have a pivot table, it has to refresh. Now anything involving Power Query or Power Pivot will not auto refresh. So therefore you've then got two different types of pivot tables, which could cause some kind of confusion as to why one has refreshed and another one hasn't. So that's my issue with it. So that would be my main concern, just around how do you know which ones are and which ones aren't.
Yeah. And I think I may have mentioned this to the Excel folks. I want a function that can detect whether a pivot table is stale or not. So equals pivot status or something like that. which
could
then
you
give
not
you a
just
true
have the same? You could have the same formatting for stale values that you've got with data tables now, don't you? If because you can have partially updated, so you could have formatting for stale pivot tables, maybe in the same way.
Yeah, maybe a different colouring. Yeah. I don't think I want strike throughs on my, and again, because that's what the sort of stale formatting is. You've got like a strike through the numbers.
Yeah.
But the whole different version thing is just getting worse and worse every single edition of new features now within 365, between 365 and previous versions. So there's all these people who've just bought Excel 2024, right?
Oh,
Not going to be in there.
yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah.
I imagine it's not.
How many people do that now?
Surprisingly, quite a lot still.
Yeah, I bet it is. I don't understand it. I don't know why you would, but maybe you just hate the idea of paying a subscription, but it doesn't make any sense to me.
It's like $100 US for a year, and you get a terabyte of storage, and you get all the other Office programs, rather than just buying standalone Excel for, I'm not sure what the price is, 160, 100. I don't actually know how much standalone is.
So Dave Bruns, who runs XLJet, he had a blog post maybe a month ago about how to calculate on survey data, and the survey data he was looking at was data around which of the people who subscribed to his newsletter and then responded to a feedback about which version of Excel they're on. And I think it was about, I mean, it's obviously go to his website and check it out to get the correct numbers, but I think it was about I think it was around 60, so 2/3, I think, were on 365. And then 10%, I think, was on 2016 or 2019.
Okay.
So that was, so they were the older, the versions that will soon be not supported. So you got kind of 10% on people on non-dynamic array versions, and about 2/3 on 365. Now, obviously, we know there's different versions within 365, but they're the broad categories. So the majority of people are now on 365, because often on a YouTube video, you might release something that's newer, and then people leave a comment, go, well, this doesn't work on 2016, 2019, or you should add a comment. You're like, well, when the majority of people actually now have this feature, should you state that it's not available on a feature that on a version that most people don't have? So I don't know, but anyway, so that's the rough breakdown. It's about 10% pre-dynamic array versions and 67% on newer versions, and then the others just in the middle.
Nice.
Still a bunch. And then any other Excel updates? Otherwise, I've got a couple. There's a Power BI ones as well.
So talking about versions and the different versions. So David Benaim published something on LinkedIn yesterday, I think it was, about the compatibility versions. That feature is now generally available.
I'm still confused about what that is.
So this is where, so there's old functions which don't behave as you would want them to. So in the initial batch that Microsoft have looked at, they looked at len, mid, search, find, and replace, and these functions don't support emoji characters. So that means that if you have an emoji with a smiley face, it will count that as 2 characters, because a smiley face emoji is 2 Unicode characters combined. So Excel currently counts them as 2, even though an emoji is a single character. So they've created this compatibility versions feature, which means that you can decide whether you want the new version of these functions or the old version of these functions. And that compatibility version then travels with the workbook. So if somebody else if you set your compatibility version to version 2, that means it calculates emojis correctly. When somebody else opens that up, the workbook will already be in version 2 and will continue to calculate correctly. If your workbook is set to version 1, it'll count as 2 characters, and therefore, unless somebody changes it, it will then remain as version 1. The question is that I don't know is what happens if somebody with version 2 sends it to somebody that's on, Excel 2024 who hasn't got this compatibility versions. I don't know what happens then. But equally, this is a way for Microsoft to start thinking about how, or fix things that don't, because they've released so many things. You think about dynamic arrays and all that, and there's functions such as SUMIFs and EO months and other ones that just don't work with dynamic arrays as smooth. Well, they don't work at all, or they don't work as smooth as they should because things have moved on. So this is their way to try and kind of fix those issues, because you don't want to change how things worked in the past, because any workbook that somebody created 10 years ago, if you open it up, it should still calculate exactly the same. But this is their way of kind of addressing those legacy issues. So you're going to get not just different versions of Excel 365, but then a workbook could then be on a different, could be version 1 or version 2. And
I kind of like it though. I like it because I remember they showed it in Vegas last year, the different compatibility versions, and I thought it was quite a sensible way to start fixing very old legacy issues with arrays versus ranges and stuff like that. I had another bit of news, which is secondhand, by the way, so I might get this wrong. There was no function that started with J. Did you know that?
Okay. In the English language.
There is now a function starting with J. It came up in the esports players chat. I don't know any more than that, so it's a very half-baked story, but I think there's a function.
I don't know what it is.
Mark is definitely going to Google, is there a function?
He's on it now.
What, in Insider?
I've open right here. I've got nothing coming up with a J.
Yeah, it may not be out yet, but it came up as a screenshot in the flighted just to esports players. Maybe. I don't know. No. It came up in the chat. There may be a function starting with J. Control your excitement, but it may be coming out.
Just give me the answer I want.
Yeah.
Just
make it up. It's called Copilot. Just make it up.
Badly.
I was demoing somebody asked me to demo some Copilot in Power BI actually the other day at the end of a presentation, and I said, let's see what it can do. And I said, build a page summarizing, let's say, sales for January. It wasn't that, but keep it simple. Page pops up, heading sales for January, breakdown of all these numbers, but there was no filter at all on the page for January. It was just the heading January, and then everything was just sales analysis. So it was only when I clicked on every visual to check or the filter panel, if anything was filtering for January. But it was confidently heading sales for January. So yeah, got to be careful.
We had a session on DAX query view for my user group on Tuesday. And they did 10 minutes using Copilot on query view, which was quite interesting. But it looked good. Okay. Yeah. But I do like query view. I haven't really used it at all. But what it does is it basically within Power. I'm telling Giles because I know he's no interest in Power BI.
And the listeners.
And listeners. So sorry, I forget people listen to us. So basically, DAX Query View allows you to create virtual tables and to run your DAX and to see the results. So the aim is to help you write DAX easier, and it's quite powerful, and it was good. I enjoyed it and started using Query View.
And mass changes to measures, or even copy and pasting mass measures from one file to another. Just can list all your DAX formulas and stuff in one spot.
Yeah, it's good. 10 years of Power BI.
10 years of Power BI. Yes, that's all good. Very exciting. I can't believe where that time's gone.
Can I just add to Sue's one? So Greg Deckler has got a new book out, DAX for Humans.
You got it.
For humans. This is going to solve all of my problems. Because I am a human, and this book is for me. So I haven't read it yet, but I'm pretty excited about getting into that. And
I've been part of his group looking at it. I haven't provided much feedback as he's written it, and his version of creating DAX without using Calculate is really nice. Just makes things a lot easier. So I've got a PDF version, but you've got a nice hardback version. It looks like Giles' tattoos on the front.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a very colourful front cover.
You can get the old
model that.
Yeah,
that's what you need, Giles.
Yeah, pretty good.
It's like Roald Dahl's The Iron Man. Was that the Iron Man? Was it Iron Man?
Marvel.
That's a throwback.
Like that.
Is it Roald Dahl that did it? But it's Marvel, isn't it?
Oh, well, there was a different Iron Man.
Giant.
Giant Iron Man thing. God.
It's very clever, Greg.
Indeed. I've been playing around with Copilot Power BI, and very confusing how they've set that up as well in terms of you've got Copilot standalone now. So you could use Copilot in Power BI Desktop to write charts and do analysis. I actually did one today, which is quite interesting how it flagged some outliers automatically that I hadn't thought of doing myself, which is quite cool.
Yeah.
And then online, you can just basically standalone Copilot. You can then ask questions of your whole Power BI infrastructure that you've got access to. Find me the report that mentions this, and it'll list them. Give a summary of this report, and it'll just on the fly, not specific. But again, sort of actually enabling it and turning it on and assigning you to the right capacity and all this sort of stuff is just a bit too clunky at the moment.
Yeah.
And used up, basically of my minimum capacity that I'm paying for, used up an hour's worth in 5 minutes of questions. So it's expensive.
I saw a demo of it, and it looks fabulous, but it relies on everything being described appropriately for it to be able to find it.
One thing that Power BI has that Excel doesn't, and this isn't a good thing, is the concept of preview features, which I guess Excel does have actually. Things just stay in beta forever. But Power BI they turn these things on and say they're not supported, so don't use them, but here they are.
Yeah.
So 3 years ago, they turned on an awesome feature called field parameters that allows you to basically use, lots of different ways of using it, but a common way is to have slicers that actually swap what's in a chart, swap what's displayed in the axis of a chart, swap what value is displayed in a chart. So you can set those things up. And it's been in preview, so unsupported for 3 years, and it went GA a couple of days ago. So generally available is what Microsoft call it, which means that if you ever have a bug with it, you've actually got some help desk support and stuff like that to try and solve any bugs. But if it's in preview before that, they just don't help. So so 3 years people have been waiting for that. Everyone's been using it, with wild abandon, but now it's out. But not many other updates to the Power BI stuff in July. Pretty slim pickings.
Have you looked at the Translytical Flows yet?
Yeah, I'll need to have a quick play and then ask one of my colleagues to build me a demo, because he's cleverer than me. So he delved into it and did it. So
basically what it is for people listening is it's the ability. One of the key issues with, well, not a key issue, but one of the things that people want to be able to do with Power BI is to write back to it. So you can interrogate it and feed into it as well. And so this Translytical Flows is supposed to enable you to use that, but I haven't used it yet. But I've got someone coming on who's built a Sudoku game using it, Jake. So
I think there's lots of Python involved, Sue, so you'd love it.
I know. User defined functions. Hey, my Python training day went down a storm.
Oh, well done. Nice.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Equal bits,
Yeah, 86 people in the room, all using Fabric, using Python. Not an issue. It was brilliant.
Were you still using your Garmin data, Sue, or have you moved on to something else now?
Something else for that, because I wanted them to have data that they could play with themselves, not my Garmin. I still use my Garmin. I think, did I use my Garmin for... I did another session on Beautiful Soup, which is scraping websites. So I was scraping London and Boston's websites to show them how you could pull out different things using Python.
Nice.
And then I did another session on chat using AI within Python, where I was showing how you could ask questions on data, a bit like ChatGPT, but with the data, and then showed how to do it on a customer review thing. But that ate a lot of capacity, so very expensive.
The question we really care about is how was the Day-Glo party with the bright orange?
Oh yeah,
fascinating.
Well, it was. I didn't enjoy it.
You didn't enjoy it.
Oh, okay.
I enjoyed going there, and I enjoyed the fancy dress, but you guys probably would have done. But it was in this huge, great nightclub type place, and they had go-karts. So they had an internal go-kart thing, and they had loads of like whiz-bang arcade games and stuff.
Oh,
So you
sounds
didn't
amazing.
actually, yeah, you know, lots of people really did love it. So it's just, you couldn't really chat to people because there was so much noise going on and people playing things and there was no dancing. So
your mention of
like a little
arcade games
chat and a
and that sort of thing. So I'm just going to embarrass my wife now. It's not that she listens. We've been married 20 years. It was our anniversary this week. But one of the first times we went out somewhere, we went to like a ball. Like my company had a ball. This was like years ago. And they had some of that stuff, right? The games and casino tables and pinball machines and stuff. And I said, oh, do you want to give a pinball? She said, oh, I hate pinball. I went, what do you mean? She goes, oh, I just hate it. I went, it's really boring. I went, oh. I went, it's all right, have a go. And so, you know, she went over, she just pulled the little plunger from the back and just the ball went up, went around and just sunk down the middle. And I said, why did you hit the flippers? And she went, what flippers? So she had no idea that there were little flippers on the side to keep the ball going up and down. I had to marry her after that. So she wasn't safe on her own.
Oh, well done on 20 years. Congratulations.
Thank you. And other news. Oh, sorry, go on.
Can I ask a question about the translytical
task flows?
So the write back, does that write back to a SQL server or does that write back to your data model in some way?
I think it writes back to a Fabric database.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think
something in Fabric. Currently, I think
something in Fabric. Yeah.
SQL database, maybe a warehouse or something else like that.
Yeah. So it's a Fabric thing, and it makes sense that it will now work. Now it's within Fabric because it's so closely entwined, I think, and then you can also make it really specific to the software. So because if you think there are so many different sources that you can use, so if it's writing back to a Fabric warehouse and it uses a user-defined function, so you can be more streamline what's going to happen and have less variability.
Yep.
So I think that probably is why it's happened, but I will be able to tell you more in a month or two.
Oh,
okay, I'm interested.
Are you?
Yes,
I am. Yeah.
And
I'm not interested. I don't even like the name of it. It's too long.
I know it's a bit of a silly name. It's just, why can't you just call it write back?
Yeah.
I think it meant to do more stuff. You're meant to be able to trigger other stuff to happen and things as well. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. If you want to really get the Reddit Power BI folks angry, then number one, don't release much for about 4 months. That gets them really angry.
Oh, does it?
And then on the month where you still don't release much, release different color gradients for pie charts. That just sends them up. That was one of the features this month. It was like, you can now adjust the opacity of pie chart segments and donut chart segments. It's like,
I might have to have a look. I've stayed clear of Reddit because I thought it probably doesn't appeal to my
I like it. That's
probably good advice in general. Stay clear of Reddit.
Yeah, I like it. I'm a fan.
It's good for running.
Most people are good. Most people are good value on there.
Yeah, good.
On the Power BI and Excel stuff, anyway. I keep getting told off by the Excel moderators for sending links to my own content. So it's like, how am I meant to answer this person with, how do you connect to a SharePoint file in Excel? I'm not going to write out the whole thing. Just here's a link to my video. Go watch it. It's genuine. Yeah. I'm not spamming them, but there we are.
Hey, guess what I've got open on my website to fill in? Somebody not too far from me here on the screen has released a course for free.
It's Mark, isn't it?
Mark, new data functions and stuff in Excel.
Yes. Well, it's not. It's Modern Excel Formulas is the title. So it covers all the. Effectively, it covers all the essential stuff you need to work with dynamic arrays, but without using many dynamic array functions. So it kind of it's the stuff that impacts all the functions in Excel. So even if you apply it to things like VLOOKUP, it will still apply. All the functions in Excel are all impacted by this thing. It's about 75 minutes. So
yeah. Well, I haven't used dynamic arrays, so I'm conscious that I'm slipping in my Excel knowledge. So I've got
We
it
put a link in the show notes, Mark.
You can do, yes.
Okay, let's make sure we know. Okay, we'll put that in there. Send it afterwards.
Yeah,
I'll forget. She'll remember when she's editing this.
I'll remember.
Oh, yeah, Mark just said
35, 33. Yeah, Wyn's got a date with red wine.
That's it.
He's got a jumper on.
I have got my jumper on. It was felt like 3 degrees this morning, which is pretty cold for Perth. It's never been less than 1, so that's the coldest ever. 1. So it felt
it's
like
never been less than 1.
No.
My God.
We've had
never seen frost.
Crazy weather here. I had an ultra at the weekend. So hot. It was ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
We had
my mum was saying it was like 26 degrees at home at night.
30 odd.
Like, geez, Wales.
Yeah,
it was
hot in Paris as well. It's very hot
and
humid.
Oh yeah, Giles is in Paris, by the way.
I'm in Paris.
He just dropped that in there.
Just dropped it in. There's a little bottle of wine in the background.
It's cider, actually. I finished it, but yeah.
No, in the background there. Yeah, and you can see in the screen. Yeah,
I think that is cider. Yeah.
Oh,
that's cider.
Just empty bottles strewn around the hotel.
For anyone listening,
tattoos. He's just living a rock and roll life. Jesus.
Every now and then I talk about Excel.
Once in a while, there's dancing girls involved. It's just like different life. I got one last Power BI news, which isn't really Power BI news at all. So my attempt to learn the left-handed mouse is progressing. So just to help my
you're still doing it?
Yeah. Now more often than not, actually. And I have now discovered or realized that in Power BI, the save icon and undo icon are dangerously close to each other. Top left corner. Never noticed before. And it's just like, right, I can't do that now. So there we go.
Please, can you create a video on how to master left-handed mouse use when you're done? When you feel like you've cracked it, I think that would be a really interesting video.
I've sort of I've still got the same buttons as the right-handed mouse. I haven't swapped the buttons. Yeah. So
it'd be great though.
Yeah.
I reckon you can make a 10-minute video.
Yeah.
You got 2.
Sometimes they move both at the same time. You just
could you actually
really crazy?
I've never thought of that. Could you actually have two little icons? Is there a setting we need?
Have 2 icons. Imagine highlighting your range. Oh yeah. Top left, bottom right, click.
I mean, who needs keyboard shortcuts when you can use 2 mice at the same time? Right?
That's
a new level of efficiency.
100%.
Next level.
Like mixing, isn't it? Mixing music, but he's mixing.
Yeah. One on each screen. So there we go. Right. Any other news? Otherwise, we'll get into question of the week.
It's 42 minutes.
Yes, we did well. I thought we didn't have much to chat about, actually. It's like, it's always the way, don't it? They've changed the user interface on StreamYard. Come on. How am I going to find this now? Right, here we go. Oh, yeah, which jingle? Let's go.
It's the question, it's the question, it's the question of the week. It's the question, it's the question, it's the question of the week.
Good old traditional one. Okay, question of the week. What do you do to set things up so your work runs when you're not there? So this could be technical stuff. It could be admin-y stuff. We'll open up the floor. Mark, do you want to kick us off with this?
Yeah. So I'll start with a story rather than any great advice.
I'm taking tips from Bill Jellin now.
I mean, this story will make everyone think, well, why don't all companies do that? And like this is I mentioned to Wyn about this as a topic because it's coming up to summer holidays. People in the UK people are going off on holiday, and therefore you end up with other people covering your work and other things. Now this also made me think of when my 3rd daughter was due. I think it was my 3rd daughter. So in the UK you get kind of like parental leave. You get 2 weeks off after your child has been born. So you get 2 weeks off to spend at home, but nobody knows when that 2 weeks is going to be. It's just as soon as the child's born, that's when your 2 weeks starts. So the company that I was working for at the time, I had a whole load of macros and everything else set up. It was quite a low click kind of scenario. The problem is that they were concerned that if I suddenly went off and it was during month end or it was during a forecast cycle, that no one would actually understand how any of this worked. So they decided to backfill my role for the 2 weeks that I was going to be off. But I then had to train the person to backfill them, which actually meant they were there for like 3 months. So there was somebody who was 3 months, were paid for 3 months full time to backfill my work, depending on when I might be off for those 2 weeks. The problem is that you couldn't just teach them here are the macros. Like, you literally just click these 17 buttons and everything works. Because if it doesn't work, because there's some work to do in preparation to make sure that files are saved in the right place and all of those things. So if it doesn't work, you actually have to teach them how to do everything as if none of that existed. So you kind of have to train them to do all the manual stuff, and then go, look, you don't need to do any of this because we've got these macros that work. So there's definitely a piece around the more you automate things, actually, it does create a bigger risk. And sometimes I wonder whether just a reasonable set of procedure notes are a better option. So I'll ask that as a question, because you can automate so much that when something goes wrong, literally no one knows how to fix it, and you end up with the scenario that you're backfilled for 3 months just so you can go off for 2 weeks.
Yes, I know what you mean. It is a real, as sort of similar-ish thing or concept happened to me in the past as well. So yeah, it just does feel like automating it is the right thing to do, though. And that is the people who are backfilling you ideally should be of a level that they can understand what has been built.
Then it also sort of raises, a HR issue within the business. You really should be not dependent on one person within the employee. So if they've recognised that they've got to pay for 3 months for someone to come in and cover you, then perhaps.
But when so at the time there might have been 4, possibly only 3 people in that team. So there was me, my line manager, and somebody else. There was literally 3 people. So you kind of give out how much cover can other people provide when you've only got a team of 3. Now the fact of the matter is that in that business we had a lot of other business units, but we were in the head office function, so everything kind of fed up into us. So we didn't need a big team because there were huge finance teams in other sections, but everything kind of fed up into us. So we were just a small team, which means that having any kind of capacity, if those kind of things happened, would literally be employing somebody just to sit around to do not a lot, just in case something were to happen.
Yeah, or upskilling other people in other teams to have the same level of knowledge, if that's at all possible.
Yeah, it is difficult though, isn't it? Because every role, everyone's got a full-time job. Companies, saying, "Oh, let's just employ this person to do 75% of their own job and 25% if somebody else is away," sort of thing. That never happens, is it? So yeah, you are sort of reliant on either automating to the extent where it doesn't break, which you can't do because you don't know you can't handle the unexpected. Something can go weirdly wrong, especially if you're working in a job. Because as a consultant, I now spend way more time making something bulletproof than I ever did when I worked in a job that I was just, if that breaks, I'll just fix it up, or I just drag that down and copy that across and change that again. So, and there may have been a few instructions when I was away about if this goes wrong, try doing this. If this, just can't get away with it now. But as an employee of a company where no one, you don't get any reward for documenting process or spending hours making it bulletproof. So yeah, it's a bit of a challenge when you do go away. I just think you do need that backup process, though. I think you need to be able to have a what if it goes wrong, or what is this doing type documentation around a process that people are aware of that, even if it's only, and if it goes wrong, they have to dive in. We've got the same thing with our consultants. We build things for clients. We've all got sort of general skills around everything, but if somebody's spent 2 months building something for a client and it goes wrong, none of us are going to be able to jump in and solve it in an hour.
Yeah.
Oh, bloody hell. Right, here we go. Let's put away 2 days away from what I was going to be doing to get my full head around this, because X, Y, or Z is off on holiday, which quite rightly they should be. But yeah, I'm good enough.
It's the same for me when I used to work on bids. There was no way somebody else could have picked up like a bid model that you'd work 9 months on. Different if it's kind of operational finance, but a bid, like you just couldn't go off in like the peak period of a bid's closing. So yeah, I don't think there was a solution there. And then more recently, I've really struggled with the delegation part running a business. And like you have to force yourself at some point to trust people to do bits, but it is very hard when it is your business and you can do it really quickly. So I think we're still working through that journey now of like taking little chunks of something and handing that one piece over bit by bit to somebody. But it's tough.
Yeah, I struggle, but I deliberately choose not to, because I choose to just be a one-person business, and because I love what I do, so I don't want to employ someone to do the stuff that I do, because then I'd be managing them and finding work for them to do what I like doing. So,
what happens if you're on holiday and one of your clients contacts you and says it's all fallen over, everything's stopped working? Like, do you check emails? Do you even look at emails on holiday? Do you
always.
look, or is it just like, hey, I'm out of the office. It's just whatever happens isn't my problem.
Being chased by a bear.
Yeah, being chased. No, part of it is communication. So I try to make sure that I have regular customers that I work for consistently, and my laptop goes with me. And part of the pros and cons of running my own business and being able to go when I want and where I want is my laptop comes with me. So, and I check emails every day. And I was in Croatia on the yoga holiday. They had a board meeting coming up and they wanted something changed. So, a couple of evenings I sat up till late doing the work that they needed for the report that they needed. And I have no problem doing that, because I'd rather be there for my customers when they need me for unexpected things than not give that level of service. And it helps that I love doing what I do, so it's not it's not really a biggie. But I think it'd be interesting, because I think, Giles, you're the same. Whenever we go away, both of us work every day, even if it's for a couple of hours. But to me, that is what you take on when you run a business as a 1 or 2 person business. You don't have to.
It's definitely the same. There are definitely things I'm doing that I can see how I should be delegating it to other people, but then there are things that I don't. Like a lot of the kind of personal training feedback, I kind of feel like it has to come from me, because otherwise you're not getting what you paid for if you join us. It's probably the same for you, Mark. Do you know what I mean? You can't fully delegate what people have signed up for to join your community and your training. But other bits, like parts of running the business, I could definitely delegate that.
Yeah. I have people for different things like web and accounts and stuff like that. But the actual core is me.
Well, because in terms of our membership in our community, everything is. So a few years ago, I read the 12-week year, which is the premise that you, rather than setting goals for a year, you set goals for 12 weeks, and then you kind of work really hard during those 12 weeks, and then you get a shorter feedback cycle. And it's all comes from the world of athletics, where when you focus on certain things for a short period of time, you improve that one bit, and then you move on to something else, and then those things compound. So that's the way that in terms of our membership, that's the way that everything is structured. So we have periods where it is all that's where we run our kind of our masterclasses, the live Q&A. That's when we record courses. That's when YouTube things are recorded. And then outside of that is generally then tends to fall in line with the school holidays. So because it's kind of like 12 weeks from Christmas to Easter, 12 weeks Easter to summer, 12 weeks from summer to Christmas. So therefore we have these kind of 3 periods where we deliver all of those things. And then outside of those periods, it's not the fact I don't work, it's the fact that I've then got the freedom to know that I can plan holidays and other things without, and I know it won't clash with anything else.
Yeah.
So I've purposely kind of designed the way our business works so that it does allow for those things. Or else otherwise, you're all, in August we won't deliver any live sessions in August, and also it kind of during August other people are Europe, North America, that's the holiday period in the Northern Hemisphere, so that kind of ties in well with other people's schedules as well. And equally, no one else wants at least I don't think anyone wants live sessions over Easter and Christmas, so people's availability is lower. So I think that kind of ties in well. So by running your own business, you can kind of arrange things the way that you want them to be. But equally, I do feel as if I have to make myself available for those for emails, for things in the forum and all of those elements. And it's amazing how much in the queue to a theme park you can do on your phone.
Yes.
It's quite slow, but equally you might be in that queue for half an hour. So there's that thing of that my laptop does always come everywhere with me. I do check emails every day, and it gets sorted out in the morning, and then the rest of the day is done. But I do miss those days of just, hey, I'm out of the office, I'm gone, and you don't have to worry. You don't check emails. You don't do anything. So that's I think you do miss out on some of that level of relaxation, because in the back of your mind you're always thinking, well, what if there's an email? What if there's something urgent? What if this? What if that? And those urgent things never happen in normal day, but suddenly, just because you're not in constant contact with your emails and everything else, you then start to worry about that more.
I'd imagine as well, a bunch of people listening are probably work in finance teams, and there's times of year that they're just not allowed to go away. Right? It's year-end reporting, it's month-end, 5-6 days, whatever, every month. There's so much you can automate, but you can't automate it all, so you can just go on holiday whenever you want. It's just pretty much impossible. But I think you should, the certain things that you can spend a bunch of time trying to automate that it just handles itself, like there's simple things like scheduled refresh in Power BI. Talking earlier about trying to one day, hopefully, Power Automate or Office Scripts will be able to refresh Power Query in Excel, and that will speed up a whole bunch of that stuff as well. But there's things I've done recently that sort of building Power Automates to have stuff run, and I've spent 6 hours sort of saving myself a 5-second click, every day. And so time-wise, I've actually over-invested probably, but then I can just forget about it, and it just is now taking care of itself, and it's not something I have to write in a training manual instruction for. But going back to Mark's point, if it breaks, there's a lot of steps involved compared to just pointing to someone and say, click a button. So it's like, oh, you have to log in here, you have to take over these credentials, you have to go and do this, go and do that. And it's an interesting, thoughtful, thought-provoking question, really.
It's almost one of those things that with Power Automate, if it goes wrong, it's almost not worth providing any notes to the person who might pick it up as to how you, because if they're not a Power Automate person, or they're not, that's not what they're just coming to cover your job for however long, or for that period just to solve that problem. Talking about Power Automate, and then they've got to go in and understand these, but it's almost not worth it. It's almost like, here's how you do this, just you copy this, you paste this, you add this down, which then makes, because obviously in finance, and I'm guessing in other areas, there's a huge amount of emphasis on, and although you said that people don't tend to do them, but procedure notes is always a thing. What happens if you get hit by a bus, etc., and everyone says that, and it's kind of, you have your procedure notes as to how we do these roles, but ultimately you end up with procedure notes which are the manual way, which isn't actually how you do it. because you need a procedure note that somebody else can follow rather than your automated way that will work because you know how it works.
And they're normally out of date within 3 months or even a month, those procedure notes. That's that whole thing of, I built a hydrocarbon accounting model for one of the oil and gas companies, right? Just bonkers complicated. It just blew my mind that I actually managed it in the end. And then somebody took about a month to document the whole thing, taking screenshots of all the, the steps one by one, where you click, all that sort of stuff. And then by the time they did all that, the company sort of moved on to something else and they weren't really using it that much anymore. And also they rebuilt it partly. So the procedure notes weren't, and that person did the procedure notes and moved on. They had version 6 in the file and they weren't sure which version of procedure notes. And
then the software changes. If it's BI. Hang on a minute.
Screenshots are different.
The screenshots are different. That's a real thing, though, isn't it? For training, and not just, people say about it for training, but for procedure notes, when you try and say you click here, you do this, you do that, and then it just changes, and you're like, where is it? And
I flagged to Microsoft last week that some of their Power Query notes on Microsoft Learn were old Power BI, and also they said, click this button, and that button only exists if you'd enabled the new on-object formatting feature. Somebody was just doing that because they've had it switched on at Microsoft forever, they're just clicking away doing screenshots. It's like, not everybody's got that version enabled. So that button isn't there for most people. It's like, right. So nightmare.
In a previous business I worked at, where there was this one process that had 26 pages worth of procedure notes as to how to 26 pages. And the truth is that for my procedure, it was open workbook, click data refresh all. So literally, it was like 2 sentences was all you needed in your procedure notes. But equally, what happens if it broke? It was therefore you had to have your 26 pages to explain how you actually go through all these steps. And it wasn't here's how you use Power Query to rebuild this. It was like, here's how you go through this using a copy and paste manual method. But I said 2 steps, open workbook, data refresh all.
I had a similar one where a well-known American consulting firm had built a process that involved exporting some data. It's from a survey system, exporting some data. I may have mentioned this before. What happened next? They then put it into Excel. They then put it in a pivot table, and there's all sorts of instructions about which fields to drag. And there's essentially unpivoting the data in a pivot table sort of thing. Then they copied that data into another thing, uploaded it into something else, into Tableau, which did something else, then downloaded it to a CSV and then uploaded it. And they had a video, half-an-hour video explaining the process.
Wow.
And that was the process they had. And they said, is there a better way of doing this? And I looked at it for a while and we're like, I can probably do that in Power Query in about half an hour. It's just like the worst process ever. So long. And that was somebody's job, right? It was following that process every couple of weeks to produce the deck on the analysis. It was just like, oh God. So do you put out of office on?
No, never.
You guys are never out of office.
Not that that's the right thing to do. I think there probably would be a sensible message to put saying at least I'm not always online, or I'm away and I'm only checking periodically. Do you ever remember there was a thing from Tim Ferriss, again, this was 4-hour work week theory, where he would say you actually should just put always have an auto reply saying I only check my emails at midday and 4 o'clock. You won't get an instant reply from me. Do you ever hear that?
No.
Yep.
I say you should only check it at certain points, and I think that's right, because you can get distracted. But I wouldn't send an email response out. That I do know some friends in different businesses, their email out of office because they take holiday because they're employed. Their out of office says, I'm away. I won't check. I'm not answering emails when I get back. If you need something, I'm back on this date, resend. Because, I've got friends that come back to hundreds and hundreds of emails and can spend all morning answering emails. By which
Never the
most
guts to do
think-
that, but I do admire that massively.
Yeah.
It just would just say, you know, I'm not going to look at
That's
them.
right. Yeah.
I'm on leave. If you still need it, send it on this day.
Yeah. If it's still an issue in 2 weeks, whenever I'm back,
Yeah.
send it again. Otherwise,
Quite like that.
it's the right thing to do because they'll find another way. They'll contact you, one of your colleagues, and then you've got two email chains going, and you've replied to the lot. And you're just wasting everybody's time, really, half the time with that sort of stuff.
Sometimes people don't actually; they're just sending it to you to cover their own backs as well. So you know, just upward delegation.
Yeah.
So,
Or if somebody's got a technical question, they often solve it within an hour of sending it to you. That's always the one as well. Just don't ever reply within an hour of somebody asking a technical question. Suddenly think about it and go, oh, actually, I've solved it. It's all right. You go, oh.
Someone on LinkedIn sent me a question. I was on leave, and I just said, I'm on leave. I said, stick it in ChatGPT. So, because it was, you know, I've got this model. It's not. It was a really quite I thought, I'm not using my brain to think. I'm on leave. You know, if it was a paid customer and it was my work, then I would. But just and so they sent it again. And so I copied my response and sent it. Just, you know, I don't want to have to take your thing apart to answer it. Try using ChatGPT. Oh.
Good answer. Good answer. Have any of you used Power Automate Desktop for anything?
A little bit.
I don't think so.
I've used it a small amount.
I've tried. You know, it's meant to be able to sort of copy your screen clicks and all that sort of stuff, so you can actually automate. I tried it with something that we have to manually download some stuff from some old system we have, and I was trying to, and just wasn't reliable enough. And your computer has to be on.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's not great. So
back in probably maybe 8 years ago or so, this is before Power Automate. So I built. We used to have to. We had this system we had to log into, and then we had to download all of these reports about different commodity prices. But you could the only way you could get it is by going in and clicking into the system, clicking download, clicking the button. So I built. I did build a macro that would simulate all these keyboard clicks. And then type in various things. So literally, I could I had to make sure that my monitor was exactly the same resolution, or else it would have clicked in the wrong place. But otherwise, I'd just click go, and then it would go and start downloading those things, because there was no way to scrape otherwise. But I've just click go, and it did it all. And that was before Power Automate. So there's there are better ways to do that now. But you can automate mouse clicks and everything else. I've used Power Automate Desktop a small amount, but is the challenge is that because your PC has to be on for it to then trigger, and I had some troubles with Task Scheduler getting that to execute. Or you need a Power Automate Premium license, so your Cloud Flow can trigger your local flow to then do whatever it needs to do. So it just becomes a bit complex.
How many things do you think are actually critical that they can't wait 2 weeks? Do you reckon we worry too much that stuff's going to go wrong, and it actually, if somebody gets a bit inconvenienced for a week, it's not that big a deal? Or I guess there's scales in there, isn't there?
We probably do over worry it. I'm guessing. It's probably a bit of an obsession with automation, isn't there? But yeah, maybe you're right.
I think it's always that question when people say, no, I need it real time. And you say, do you? Well, you can have it real time, but it will cost this. And then it's like, well, actually, no, real time is, at the end of the day or something. It's never, it's very rarely is it real time.
Yeah. I think sometimes it is like, things can wait, right?
Yeah.
The number of times we've had sort of, people say things are, urgent, and then really, they turn out not to be that urgent. It's just, if there's a good reason you can't get to something, everyone wants to do their best effort. But if you can't get to something for some genuine reason, people go, no, that's okay. As long as I've got a good reason to tell my boss that it can't be done, that's most people's attitude.
It's when you get something that's somebody contacts you, says it's urgent, so you respond urgently, and then 3 months later they'd be like, "Oh, I'm just looking at this now," and you're like, "You said it was urgent." Like, literally, I didn't do the thing I wanted to do to prioritize your thing because it was urgent, and now 3 months later you're now looking at it. But I think in terms of agency, the things are probably things like payroll. If you work in payroll, that's that's
critical.
probably something you pretty much have to get done, or else everyone's going to be unhappy, and that won't be a good option. Cash flow, if you're in a tight cash flow business, I think that's something you need to think about. Otherwise, I mean, I suppose I come from a predominantly finance background, so they're the things that I think about. But otherwise, I'm not. I mean, there's critical operational things like if you're Marks and Spencers in the UK and suddenly your website is unable to accept online purchases, then that becomes quite a critical thing. But most things aren't business critical, are they?
I'm thinking from a Excel, Power BI solutions reporting point of view analysis. Apart from some sort of merger deadline that's about to happen, if you're 3 months out and you're not available to fix a number for a week, maybe it can obviously be disruptive and potentially cost people money, but I think you'd probably normally wait a week or something like that if something's not ready.
Depends on the deadlines, doesn't it? Some things are, if you're putting in bids for different things, or you've got specific. I do quite a lot of board reporting, so that's critical to get the data all ready in for them.
Good call. And I have done, I've been, in my younger days working for some of the banks, I've been up till 2 a.m. getting packs done and analysis and models done and updated, ready for the board meeting and things the next morning, because who am I to turn around and say, no, I'm not staying till 2. I'm just some upstart sort of 25-year-old, just find him a way. But you get on with that. But I think most of the stuff I do now and our company does now, there's nothing that's, it's important to the businesses for decision making and things. Nothing that if it breaks for a couple of days or can't be done. I think we've had 1 or 2 in the last couple of years I can think of where colleagues have been away and something's not working, and one of us has to delve in and spend a couple of days trying to fix it. But generally, things just tick along for the sort of thing we do.
For people who have been on the other side, so when somebody else has been away and then suddenly it drops onto you that Dave's on holiday, this is the question that's come in, can you provide an answer for this? I generally find that the times I have provided an answer or done anything, the person who's asked that is normally has quite low expectations that you will do anything about it. So the fact that you do, they're normally quite really happy, because it's kind of like, Dave's on holiday, can you help me with this? And you'll be like, oh yeah, leave it with me. And then you do it and they're like, oh, that's amazing, thanks. So often I think I think inside businesses, people, when somebody's away, I think people have an expectation that things won't get picked up because that's just the way things are. So it's even when you're the person who's then being asked, think, oh, I have to solve this. I have to cover Dave. When actually we often put too much pressure on ourselves, and maybe we shouldn't.
Yeah,
that's a good point, because you should always ask, can it wait?
Yeah.
You like you say, you feel like, oh, Dave's out of office, says, hey, if you have any issues, contact Wyn. This is like, oh, right. So then you feel responsible for, but it really should be, look, it'll take me 3 times longer to work this out than it would if Dave was back. So can you wait a week? Normally people go, yeah, all right. That's what normally happens. Unless it is sort of critical.
Yeah. They are very grateful though when you do it when you're on holiday. So, and that sort of keeps
commitment.
Yeah.
But as long as you're not overdoing it, got to have a break. It's important. Right, folks. Gone way over when I said I was going to finish. So,
can I share one last bit of thing with you?
Ooh, sure.
It's a lovely one. So I went swimming this morning, and so I have one of my companies that I work for. We have a swim every Thursday rather than have a teens catch up. We go for a swim in the sea. And which is
different
lovely.
Different life.
I know. And we were swimming back in, and all these people on the shore were filming. I thought, what were they filming for? And we had this big pod of dolphins that were in the sea with us. And so I started the morning. So we got back and got changed, and we were just watching these dolphins swimming in the sea. That was nice.
Very nice.
Very nice.
All good. Yeah. Oh, that's a lovely note to finish on.
Lovely note to finish on.
Wonderful indeed. All right, folks. So I think we are catching up again in a couple of weeks' time. So we look forward to that. Thank you for everybody who's been listening. Hey, we're bordering on 10,000 podcast downloads. So
We're not, are we?
This one might push us over the edge.
Wow.
So we'll have a nice little announcement about that.
Amazing.
And so on YouTube, if you're listening to us and if you're watching us, we're on Spotify and Apple and all that stuff as well. So check us out. Listen to us while you're running or gardening or doing your chores. So there you go. That's my admin done.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Have a good one. Love
See
you.
you in a
Chat to
couple of
you.
weeks.
Bye.
Bye.
Catch you all
Bye.
later. Hope
Bye.
that tattoo sort of heals up nicely, Giles.
Pretty itchy, but it's all good. We're getting there.
Cheers, folks. Bye.